Now I have to check Facebook to see whenever we're live so we don't really start talking. Zoom. Oops, sorry, I'm back. I just went to make the screen bigger and I turned the camera off instead.
Okay. Nice earrings, by the way.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
All right, so as we're going live and everybody's getting situated, let me just pull everything up. Get us on Facebook. All right, we're live on Facebook. It's showing all of us. We don't have any viewers yet, but that's okay. So we're going. Now, this is the first time I've ever gone live on YouTube. I don't really know how that works. Last time we just recorded it and I uploaded it because when I went to go live, YouTube's like, well, you have to wait 20, you have to request to go live. And then they're
Okay.
like, okay, now that you've requested, you have to wait 24 hours. And that was last Friday, which was the day of the podcast. I was like, well, I guess next week.
Okay.
So we're going to try. Okay, it shows that we're live. I don't see where our found us. We have no views there either, but that is okay. As we pick.
We'll get momentum. Yes.
I like to give it a minute. Like when you first go live and people need, I've already posted about it because last week we ended up picking up a handful of people. We had lots of people commenting, lots of, interaction and engagement. And that's fun. Like when people were engaging and then you see that, I don't know, that's like motivational because this is
Yeah.
only the second episode. So this is very new. Um,
Yes.
and it was like 3 months in the making where I announced it and then getting everything together, getting all the back end like the back end stuff situated to just have a podcast. I was like, oh my God, I was like, guys, one more week, we'll be there. Okay, so
What was last week's episode?
so 1 second, I'm sorry, let me turn this off. So last week's episode was on hookup culture. We talked about hookup culture and our thoughts on it and our
Yeah.
experiences with it and because it's just kind of like what, especially with being like so big on online dating
Yeah.
now, it's just, I was like, it's a good topic. All right, so we have to give everybody a chance. I posted in the other group, so let's see. Whoops. Need to add some things to like my wall now. I had a light that said like VIP lounge that I bought for this podcast, but it was giving off like extra flares last week. I was like, I don't know if I want that. We just need pictures or something.
Something
Oh,
simple.
Mhm. Well, we're gonna get started even like we'll let people pick up as we go, but this will be
Mhm.
recorded. I'm gonna upload this anyway, so we don't want it to be too quiet. I could cut all the beginning where we're just sitting here like waiting. Okay. So, welcome to episode 2 of the Call Me Jess podcast. Today's episode is going to discuss karmic relationships, twin souls, and soulmates. We're going to talk about our thoughts on them. We're going to go over the definitions for each for those of you who don't know. And then we're going to just flow into that conversation and see where it goes. And I am Jessica Rail. I am your host. And with me today is Finn. He's stepping in as a co-host, and we're going to see how this plays out. So, Finn, go ahead and take the floor and tell us a little bit about yourself.
Namaste, nice to meet you all. So my name is Finn. I am a teacher, a yogi, and a traveler. I've been living in Vietnam and South America for about 7 to 8 years. And actually, I was teaching German to nurses and then sending them to Germany. As well, I have one son, and I'm currently teaching yoga and meditation classes to smaller groups. So very nice to meet you, and any questions, I'm very happy to answer as well, to the best
Now,
of my ability.
you said your son was like, I think we were talking earlier, you said he's 4.
Exactly, yes, he's 4.
That's a
Yes,
fun age.
yes. Yeah, it's very beautiful and very spontaneous and energetic, dynamic.
Yeah.
I'm very excited about it as well.
All right. Well, we're going to move on to our guest for today. Her name is Colleen, and we're going to let Colleen tell us a little bit about herself.
Hello, I am a single mom, and I moved well, let's see. I moved suddenly out of nowhere. I got an opportunity and I just said yes instead of saying no to an opportunity, and it really opened up my life. And now I am just going through the journey of figuring out life as an adult.
Beautiful.
That's always fun too. Where did you move from?
So I moved from State College, Pennsylvania to Bradford, Pennsylvania. And Bradford is a very, very small town, but it has it's the home of the Zippo. And that's where I work. I work at Zippo Manufacturing.
Tell us, like, what is the Zippo?
The Zippo is a lighter. I wish I had don't I don't even have one next to me right now. A lighter. It's the windproof lighter. It's a 92-year-old company, and it's a lot of I'm getting a phone call. So it's a 92-year-old company, and they started in the Great Depression with just an idea that they could do a better lighter than what was out there, and has stuck to. We have created the same design since the beginning.
Sounds fun. Is that so? That's the windproof one. It's almost like a little torch. Is that what
Yeah.
it is? Yeah. Okay. I know what you're talking about.
Yep.
Okay, so that's cool. I also live in Pennsylvania. I'm not sure where Bradford is off the top. I've heard of it before, but like just trying to think of where it is on the map, I have no idea. State
North.
College is not that far from like where I am now.
Yep. So Bradford is 3 hours north of Pittsburgh. Like if you just went north, you would hit Bradford.
But I'm like an hour north of Pittsburgh, so you're 2 hours above me.
Yeah.
Mhm. Nice. Okay, so moving past the introductions and let's kind of just flow into the conversation. Hopefully it doesn't feel too rushed. That's not my intention. I just like to keep things moving. What I'm going to do right now is I'm going to go over the definitions for what karmic relationships, twin souls, and soulmates are, just so everybody's on the same page. And so that I don't have to think on the spot, I have it all written down so we can just flow through it. So a karmic relationship is a connection between two individuals that is stemming from potential past life experiences or thought to stem from past life experiences. Karmic relationships are often intense and just hard. They're emotional, they're tumultuous. They're meant to teach you something. It's an opportunity for growth and learning. They'll help you with potentially help you resolve some unresolved issues from previous lifetimes, and they can teach you important life lessons in this lifetime. So karmic relationships can be very like deeply transformative, but you go through hell to get there. And once you've learned those lessons, whatever those lessons may be, it ends, which could be 2 years, 5 years, 7 years, 20 years. Ugh, can't even
Yes.
imagine.
Yes.
Twin souls are also known as twin flames, are believed to be two halves of the same soul that have been separated and incarnated into two different bodies. The connection is characterized by a deep and intense bond that transcends physical and emotional levels. And meeting your twin soul often leads to like just that can also lead to personal growth and a spiritual awakening. But twin souls are known to be very magnetic towards each other, and it can be a very rewarding as well as challenging relationship. Because when you're with a twin soul, or it's said that if you're with a twin soul, you both end up pushing each other to grow. So twin souls are not the same as a soulmate. Like you can find a twin soul and you can grow and it can be great, but you can also grow apart, unfortunately. Or you could be together forever, and who knows? Then soulmates, and this is kind of like my perspective on soulmates, so we're going to throw it out there. Like soulmates can be anyone that you have a deep natural connection with. It can be romantic, a friend, or a family member. Soulmates are believed to be individuals who come into your life to help you grow, evolve, and achieve your soul's purpose. And with these relationships, they are often very, very healthy, very nurturing, and they provide you with a sense of comfort. Um, and while many people think soulmates as being romantic partners, the term can refer to any significant, impactful relationship in your life. That is that.
Yes.
So with that, so that I'm not just the one talking and going because I can do that, it's not intentional. I'm gonna let Finn go ahead and take the floor and see like what he has to say around the situation, the subjects.
Yes, sure. So I think, as you said, we have these three categories. One would be signified by stagnation, a lot of arguments, kind of this competition between partners, which is quite unhealthy, I believe. And as well, as you said, this past life connection. So it's a lot of repetition, pasts, energy. There's no growth. So that's a little bit the problem. But as you said, it's important to have these experiences to grow from them and then go and move beyond them.
Personal,
Then we,
there's
yes.
personal growth, not like relationship growth, because it's
Mhm.
but personal growth. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
Yes, yeah, you're exactly right. So we can learn from it, but the relationship will not really expand to its fullest potential.
Yeah.
So that's to the karmic. And then we have the twin flame where there's more respect, more love, growth as well within the relationship as well as personal. And as you said, it's a counterpart. So it's this completion of each other. We are similar, but also we have this masculine and feminine energies, and this can be both for males and females. So it's a very interesting dynamic, and we can very expand on it. We can grow, we can listen. So I think it's a beautiful way of seeing a relationship. And then the soulmates, it's very interesting because we often think about relationships as solely romantically. But for example, I have a teacher, a guru, and with him, I have a very deep connection, even from a distance. He teaches me, he guides me, and this is a very energetic way. So I never met him in person, but he's very present in my life, and he gives me instructions. And this is more telepathically, but a very deep bonding as well. So I'm very thankful for all the different kinds of relationships in my life, and even the ones that are tough.
Yeah, they serve their purpose.
Yes, exactly. Yes, that's what I was about to say. So these are my views on the three different groups of relationships that we're discussing today.
Very
Yes.
nice. So let's let Colleen take the floor now. And you want to go ahead and give us like your thoughts and opinions on karmic relationships, twin souls, and soulmates.
So for karmic relationships, I think that they are the catalysts of a lot of our big events that create who we are as we see ourselves, not how we see others, but how we can view ourselves and how we can change ourselves. They're our biggest lessons in my eyes. And those are good lessons. And it's such a balancing act when you have karmic relationships in your life because they're needed, but not forever. You have to know when to let them go. And that's a lot of things you have to learn about attachment with karmic relationships too. And then
And learning
go
what
ahead.
you said about attachment, and that's something we talk about a lot within my own like friend group, and we even brought it up last episode, is learning the difference between attachment and connection when it comes to your personal relationships, whether they're platonic or romantic. That's really, really important.
Yes, it is. Discernment of your attachments, because that's really hard. For the twin souls, you have such similar karmic experiences with your twin soul that it can be hard to distinguish attachment and the connection between the two. And I think that that can scare you from that twin feeling and towards other relationships because it's so similar. Lessons, because you experience the lessons, but you experience it different with a twin person. they're going to be there in an energetically different way. They're always going to be there for you. They're always going to understand. They're not going to run away or use your like it's not karmic. It's you both are experiencing the same lesson.
It's healthier. Karmic relationships are not healthy.
No.
They are meant to make you uncomfortable, pull you out of your comfort zone, and teach you a lot about yourself.
Yep.
Twin souls, they're made to be more like passionate and deep, like you're still growing and you're challenging each other, but in a very positive way. You're challenging each other in the sense that you're like lighting a fire within the other person.
Yes.
Yep.
Excellent.
So,
and then for soulmates, I think these are the people that you just keep in your heart always. Like you always have them in your heart. You always know that they're there. And sometimes you don't know that you haven't met them yet. You just, sometimes you know that they're there in your heart, and then you meet someone one day and they're like, oh, you're just meant to be there. They just fit. The pieces just fit. There's no lessons. You go through the stuff together.
I believe that too, because then that's what they say a lot about. Sometimes you can meet somebody and the very first time you meet them, it's the energetic pull you get to them and you feel it. And people have said this before, like, I feel like I've known you forever. I feel like I know you, and you guys don't know each other, at least not like in a physical sense. So yeah, I love that. And it's also a comfort, and they're more like nurturing.
Yes.
That's why I said they can be friends or family, or they can be romantic. They can be either one. So, and also you can have a very passionate, like romantic relationship with a soulmate. That's not just a twin soul or a twin flame. So, and a lot of times they talk about twin flames aren't necessarily meant to be, there's no rules to it.
Yeah.
The twin souls don't always end up being a forever thing, but they start healthy. You have a lot of passion within it. You grow together. Yep. And then maybe you guys, like, there doesn't have to be any animosity, but you outgrow each other.
Yes. It just is.
It just is what it is.
Do you think soulmates could be also something we experience with, for example, a pet or an animal?
Oh, yes.
A soul, any soul, yeah. Because it's all about pets and animals, especially because, like, soulmates are supposed to be comforting and nurturing to you. Yeah. So, you know, I know, like, when I hold one of my cats or my dog, I'm like, oh, I love this so much because it's brings me a lot of comfort.
We were talking about how your cats found you when we first started talking, the different ways that they found you. And I think that cats are one of the biggest things that find you whenever you need them. Like they have a soul, they know what piece of your soul is missing, and they come in and they fill it.
Yeah. Now as far as like, or they were like soulmates, or maybe they're like a different version, like companion souls or companion. I don't know. It's all just like a big learning experience, because like they do bring you comfort as a companion, and that's what they do. So maybe not. I don't know. I guess that's gonna have to be whatever resonates with your soul, what feels right.
Yeah. Because some people aren't as connected with animals too.
No, sure. It's you know, if you don't like animals, you don't like animals, but people who genuinely like hate or can harm animals, I'm like, there's something wrong with you.
Very disconnected.
And I think like a long time ago, like 500 years ago, and even before that, animals were such a part of our life, even like for food as well, but also just living near them, being a part of the household, part of the family. And nowadays it's so separate from humans and plants and animals. So I think that would be very beneficial if we could reintegrate animals and plants into our lives.
Yep. I think it's important for your animals. Like I like my cats to be able to go outside, because I think it's important for them to feel the ground and the grass and stuff like that. I think it's nice for animals and humans to integrate different scenes.
That makes sense. I only have one cat that likes to run out the door. He stays in the front yard. He doesn't go anywhere, but he sure as shit will bring me a dead bird or a bunny. I'm like, stop doing that. Like, I know you're saying thank you, but you can say thank you by just giving me cuddles. But yeah, the rest of they have no interest in going out. They're just like, no, we're good. We're just gonna hang out in here where it's safe, and they do.
Is it a cold state, Pennsylvania?
We have all 4 seasons. So right now
Okay.
we're in spring, so the weather's been pretty nice.
Hmm.
We're moving into summer. Summer can get humid here. It can get really humid. Um, and then fall is always fun. I love fall. I love the whole Halloween season. And then winter
Yes.
sucks. Winter gets cold. Winter is I don't vibe with winter.
Yes, I got it. Okay, it's probably quite similar to Belgium as well, the Four Seasons and everything.
Yeah,
Yeah.
so
Yeah.
how close is Belgium to where Mark is from the Netherlands from Gro I don't I'm probably gonna like kill this, but
Country.
Groningen, that whatever. How
Yes,
far are you from there?
it's about 3 hours from Groningen. Yes,
Okay, so I know he gets all 4 seasons, and it tends to be similar. Our seasons tend to be similar. So I'm assuming you're only 3 hours away. Yours are probably the same.
it is. It is exactly, and it's a different country. It's very small in Europe. Yeah. Yes. Interesting. Um, yeah, something else I was thinking about. The word soulmate basically refers to our soul needing a mate, and I'm a little bit questioning this because I understand our body needs a mate, our mind needs a mate, our emotions need a mate. But does the soul really need a mate, or is it already perfect on itself? Because
That's a
we need,
double-edged sword.
yeah. Hmm.
Because I do believe, like, as a single soul, and I believe in the sense that we all come from one and we all kind of like separate from one into who we are and our little individual souls, but we all need connection. And that
Yes,
stems from like the connection goes deeper. So that you can to say the connection comes from the soul wanting that connection or enjoying the experience of that connection would then
yeah,
mean I don't think it's so much as you need, like you have to have, but it's enjoyable and it's positive and
yes,
it helps you grow. So
I like to prefer them as soul ties than soul mates, usually, because it's like strings connected to each other instead of something that's missing.
yes,
that makes
exactly.
sense. Yeah, I like that. That makes
Yes.
sense. But I never really view it. I guess it's all a matter of like perception because I never viewed it as when you say you're seeking a soulmate or you connect with another soulmate. I never see it as like you were lacking. It's just you connect it with this version of somebody else. Like this is how they benefit your growth or, like as we said with karmic relationships, there's growth in all of it. It's just some of it's more painful.
And some of it,
Some of it's comforting, some of it's really passionate. So moving into the next like part of the podcast, I like the idea of talking about have you ever experienced one or all of these type of relationships? Or do you feel like you've experienced one? And what have you learned from that experience? Ben, if you want to, or I mean, I
Sure.
can start too, or you can start. It doesn't matter. There's no rules, just flow.
Yeah. Well, go ahead, and I'll follow you. Okay.
I think I've experienced a karmic relationship, and it was a terrible relationship. It was terrible arguments, lots of tension, and it was never ending. But coming out of that relationship 7 years later, and then that's a whole lot of like back and forth and this and that and a whole baby. But we don't need to get into the actual details of the relationship. It was just to state the basics that it was just a very, very rocky every day. And we lived in the same house. And I remember there were days like we just wouldn't talk because there was so much tension. And then if we would start talking, it was immediately some type of like argument over the dumbest. I'm just like, they would spark over nothing. Dishes being put away the wrong way,
Yes.
clothes not being
Yes.
folded the right way.
Mm.
Um, so that whole process was about 7 years. And it was just, there was a point where I remember psychologically thinking I was never, ever, ever going to get out. Like you just start to feel like you can't get away
Mm.
until I did. And then there was a lot of healing that came after that. But the growth that happened and you had to go through hell, but I came out of that like knowing myself on a much deeper level, understanding my emotions, my reactions, my thought processes, my beliefs, even like I just came out of that with so much more understanding of who I am. So that it forced like a lot of growth, a lot of growth. As far as like twin soul, I don't think I've never had a relationship where I was like, oh, head over heels, passionate and it was back and forth. And like I've had healthy relationships and I've had not so great. What did I like? 2 out of 5 relationships that I've had were healthy, but they weren't like, oh my God, I have to be with this person forever. And then 3 of them were different versions of this sucks, but you know, you live and you learn. So you just grow.
Yes.
And as far as soulmates go, yeah, I believe people have come in and out of my life. I've met people that I felt really connected to from the beginning. That doesn't mean that just because I feel connected or drawn to you that we're meant to be in a romantic relationship. It just means like we're meant to be some version of each other's, be in each other's lives, be in each other's lives to some extent, you know, like we're meant to
Yes.
be, whether it's going to be a friendship or whatever. We already went over all that. But yes, I do believe that I have met different soulmates, but not in a romantic sense. So definitely got karmic down.
Yes.
Let's move
That's
past that one.
beautiful.
Oh, let's get the fun, passionate.
Yes.
All right, now Finn, if you take the floor, what about you?
Yes, I've also had a karmic relationship of 2 years, and it's very similar to what you explained. Lots of arguments, but you do get a lot of strength from it. And also, as you said, what I thought was very interesting is that you notice your own reactions. So you basically get a mirror in front of you, and everything you put out, it comes back right at you. So you don't really have a choice but to change. You're forced to change and to transform yourself. And that's a beautiful lesson, I think. And then I've had a twin flame where everything went so much easier, smooth. We supported each other. So that's a beautiful transition. And I think everyone should really start noticing these patterns in the karmic, if you're still in the karmic, and really figure out, is this what you want for the rest of your life, or do you want to change? And sometimes it's a little bit frightening when you haven't experienced it yet and you're leaving something behind to get something new that you don't know. But I think it's absolutely worth it, and the universe is there to support us. So yeah, if you get a chance and if you feel the time is right, then you should most certainly do it. And then in terms of soulmates, I think sometimes I feel such connection with animals like ants or cows, just admiring them and feeling into them. So it can be with anyone, and I think that's the beauty of it, and that's why we're here as well. So to experience these relationships with all of life and this planet, and yeah, I'm very thankful for all of it, the hard and the easy. Yes.
I love that. And I agree. That what you said about karmic relationship, how you were in one for 2 years, and yeah, it's a mirror. Like you go into it and you start noticing like the patterns repeat and repeat and repeat and repeat and repeat to where you have no choice but to see not only like, yeah, you see the other side's actions and whatnot, but I don't even talk about his actions anymore because I'm not worried about his actions. I went through what I went through and I came out, and now it's all about working on like my actions and my reactions to things. But you're forced through these cycles and these patterns to see whether you're what am I being triggered by, and then how am I reacting when I'm being triggered. And I mean, it keeps happening and happening and happening to where you have no choice but to see. And then you're like, well, I really don't want to respond that way, or I don't want to, you know, react that way, or I'm getting way too emotional right now. That doesn't mean
Yeah.
you're not going to end it right away. You're still going to learn. You have to go through that over and over and over again. But eventually it got to the point where I was like, all right, so I need to do better for myself, or I need to offer better or make, you know, the changes necessary. Because that's another thing is, like I said, the psychological fact, like the psychological aspects play in. And this is why I think a lot of people get stuck in relationships that are seen as abusive or toxic, and they can't seem to leave. They can't seem to get out. Like that shit rewires your brain. And
Yeah.
that chaos, even though you hate it, you don't want to be there, you don't want to live that. But that chaos, in a weird sense, becomes your comfort. It's not comforting, but it becomes what you're used to. So you feel more anxiety when you try to pull away from that chaos.
Yes.
And then that anxiety can pull you right back in over and over and over again. You gotta push through the anxiety because there is better on the other side. Even if you just don't have a relationship for a few years, which was my choice, like
Yep.
perfectly happy and did a lot of growing and learning more about myself and made a lot of big changes. So we're happy with that.
That's beautiful. Yeah, I'm glad you made it through.
Yeah.
Yes.
Pauline, what about you and your experiences?
Yes, I have experienced karmic relationships in my life, and I've experienced a lot of karmic relationships within Venus. Within sorry, my dog is like barking, but like someone's at my door. But no one's there. Venus, settle. Good girl. A lot of karmic relationships in my life have been with my family and having to grow with them. And I made a decision to move away from my family and focus on the lessons that I needed right then. Venus, come here, settle. And it really opened up my eyes and forced me to look at myself and grow. And I am a completely different person than whenever I first started to look at myself in the mirror of the karmics and learn the lessons that they had to offer instead of running away from them too. I was a very big runner from the karmic lessons because I thought it was easier, and it was not easier.
It is easier in the moment.
Yes. And then it's like a snowball effect down a hill.
The patterns keep going. It's like you have a lesson to learn, so we're going to keep throwing it at you.
Yep. And then if you keep turning away, it just hits you like a Mack truck. And I welcome the karmic relationships into my life as they are. You learn the lessons and then they go, and it just is what it is as they come and go. Because you never really, I guess you never leave the karmics behind unless you've completely learned all your lessons.
And I believe that because I left 7,452 billion times.
Yep.
It was that last time though.
Yes.
I was like, oh, you learned what you needed to learn. Go ahead.
Yep.
And yeah, I guess karmic can be family relationships also, like experiencing that with them, and that makes sense, and it's a little bit different than a relationship because I am a firm believer in if your family is toxic, walk away. But I also have the understanding that that's not the easiest thing, and it's not as easy as people telling you to just walk away.
Yeah, you can walk away sometimes.
Yeah,
really hard.
I love how you called it the karmic like the karmic's mirror. They're like, here, look at yourself.
Yep.
Look at the parts of yourself that your soul wants you to acknowledge so you can work on, so to speak.
You have to remember that you're their mirror too. So like whatever you're doing and it's triggering them, it's meant to be. You just have to keep doing what you're doing.
Existing.
Yes, existing.
Yes.
I have also had the privilege of having a twin soul, and it was beautiful. It was amazing. I would have never met them if I wouldn't have made the decision to move to the town that I moved to. It was so beautiful. We're not together. It was so beautiful to come together and meet and just have a fire lit within myself. And after meeting them, I have so much faith in myself that I am worthy, I guess, that I didn't have
that.
Yeah.
That's amazing.
And I still like it's so weird whenever you're not with someone, you're like, oh, screw them, whatever. But with them, it is, I hope that they're doing the best. Even if we're not together, if we're not forever, we're not going to ever see each other again. I hope that he is like doing amazing because he deserves that. Just
and
like
when I was saying twin souls or twin flames, like you come together and you may or may not stay together forever, but if you aren't going to stay together, there's not going to be animosity. You guys are not going to go out fighting and flailing like your fist, like you're not going to do that. It's going to be, there's going to be that understanding just like that. See, and that's the perfect freaking example. I love that. I do. And I love that that person came into your life and taught you self-worth.
Yes.
Clearly, like it sounds like you were struggling with it on your own and you weren't able to convince yourself on your own. So
Yep.
the universe was like, here, I got you.
Yep. They said,
Yeah.
here you go. And I used to talk down on myself. I was really bad, and it was really, really bad. And meeting them, it made me realize that I was worthy, and that was great. I will always have that in my soul, and that was beautiful.
Yes. It's something you can carry for a lifetime,
Yep.
even though it may have been just an hour or two or a week or a
Yep.
month, I don't know. And it's
Yeah.
so beautiful. It's a beautiful gift we can receive. Yes.
Yeah, it is. It is. And you have a lifetime. Like, just because it's not right now, you might meet again in 20 years whenever you need that spark again. You just never
Yes.
know.
Maybe when you meet again in 10, 15, 20
Yeah.
years, whatever it is, that'll be the right time in the
Yep.
universe, because we never know. We can't, like,
Yep.
you can have the best intuition in the world and you still
Yep.
don't know. This is also
I,
something that goes hand in hand with like all the different types of relationships. Is I tend to be I'm either energetically drawn to you or I'm not.
Yep.
And as I've gotten older, I've learned to listen to that. Like I could be energetically drawn to somebody and we're just going to be friends. It doesn't mean that I'm energetically drawn to you and that means we're going to have like a romantic relationship. If I feel at this point, if I'm energetically drawn to somebody, there's a reason. And it's highly likely that they're also going to be energetically drawn to me, like magnetism, like you're being brought together for a reason.
Yep.
And I feel like that probably goes hand in hand with the different types of relationships that you're meant to have with people, even if it's just friendship or comfort or support.
Yep.
You're going to, like, I feel that. And I've learned to really like listen and tune into that when it comes to meeting new people, when it comes to whether or not I'm going to like immerse myself into your life, like, and vice versa in any capacity. But if I don't have an energetic draw to you, it doesn't mean that I don't like you. It doesn't mean that you're a horrible person. It just means that maybe we don't have anything to teach each other.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yes.
We're just passing by.
Just
Yeah.
hi, hope you're having a wonderful day.
Yes. And there's 8 billion people, so it makes a lot of sense. You can't be drawn to anyone at the same time. So
How exhausting would that be to be drawn to
No.
everybody on the planet? I'm like, I need a nap for 7 billion years.
For starters, yeah.
Yeah, and I love that. And yeah, somebody in the comments said soul family. And yes, I do feel that. Your soul family. And if you've read any books on it, what soul family means is souls that you literally reincarnate with in some capacity back in each lifetime. Like you'll play a different part in their lives, but you guys reincarnate together at the same time. So I love that. I love that concept. So who knows?
Yes. And it's like making a pact, like agreeing in one lifetime to meet in the next lifetime,
Yep.
and then even choosing your place of birth, your mother, your father. It's very intricate, and I only understand maybe 0.1% of it, but the whole universe, as you said, it's so special and designed, and it's fascinating to learn about it. Yeah.
What the odds whenever, because like the odds are impossible for one person to meet one person, for one dad to be with one mom, just everything that has to happen in life. Everything is just a miracle, really, to happen.
Yes, it is.
Megan asked, so we did go over whether or not soulmates can be animals. And we did say that really depends on how you look at it. Because yes, we feel that they can be like a soul companion or some version of that. So we went over how soulmates can be friends, family, or romantic. They're not just romantic. Somebody in the comments just asked, so I wanted to catch her up. She's coming in a little bit late, so just kind of like make that like a real quick update.
Yes, very nice.
And you keep up with the comments too, which are
your guys are soulmates too in your life.
Your what?
Your teachers, the people who are like your mentors in your life are
yeah. And that's something like through life, you are at times going to be the teacher.
Yes.
And at other times, you're going to be the student. And this is going to go on until you could be 86 years old and you can still be taught.
Yep.
Yes.
So I love that. I think that's really fun because like sometimes you're going to be the one sharing your wisdom and maybe you're going to make the difference that somebody needs in their life.
Yep.
And other times somebody's going to make the difference that you need in your life.
Yep.
Yes.
You never know when you need that moment of wisdom.
Yeah.
Yes, and
Depending on what it
sometimes,
is too. Like what? Go ahead, Finn.
yeah, and sometimes it's very small things and we don't even remember, but to the other person it meant so much.
Yes.
So that's
Yep.
also beautiful
I
when
was just
we have an impact. Yeah.
I was thinking about how I'm somebody's in someone's story. Like one day I am like they tell stories about how I was nice to them or something, and I was like, wow, I didn't really think about it like that.
Have you ever
That's
like
cool.
on like just as a personal experience, completely been walking through a group of strangers and like one person does nothing but like maybe a funny little joke or smiles at you and like you'll have everybody do that, but for some reason there's one person who energetically sticks out to you and it makes you feel really good inside. You're like, oh, that's wonderful. And you go about your life with a smile, your day.
Yeah.
Yes.
I've
Yeah.
had that happen. And I'm like, it's not even like a big, meaningful moment. It's just a very brief moment of connection that like stirs the energy inside you a
Yeah.
little, you know?
Little energy boost that you need to
Yeah.
you
Yeah.
need it.
It's like a positive, it's like uplifting.
Yeah.
And I'm like, I don't even know you. I've never seen you before, but my day's a little bit better because you smiled at me.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
That's
always
meaningful.
smile at people.
Yes.
Yes. Yes.
Don't
True.
scowl. Be like, just look at them like, like, no, don't do that.
Don't be
I
one of
have
them.
this weird thing, like if I'm walking past people, I can't not look at them. Like I can't just pretend like I don't see you. I do see you, so I have to look at you, and then when I look at you, I have to smile at you, so it's not weird. Like I can't just pretend like I don't see you. And so many people I'll notice when they're walking past me will just like look down like I don't exist, and I'm like, that's anxiety.
Yeah.
Yes. Yes. Yeah, it's very important to become human again because we lost it a little bit and then it's time to catch up.
Yeah.
And it's beautiful what you're doing, like greeting people, smiling to people, just getting back this humanity in small actions. Yeah.
Little
Yep.
tiny pieces of energetic connections, just sprinkle that everywhere.
Yes. Yeah, because you
Yes.
never know whenever someone needs something.
Yes.
I agree.
True. Planting the seeds. Yes. Yeah.
Everything is a mirror. Yes. Oh, and Mark, that's what we were talking about earlier, is like everything's a mirror, but most specifically in karmic relationships, those are meant to be the mirror to your own, I don't want to say issues or problems, that's not the word I want to use, but your own struggles. Because you learn so much more about yourself in a karmic relationship. It's not really about the other person, in that the other person may trigger you in a lot of ways, and you have to learn what your triggers are, and then you can work through those and kind of grow
Yes.
into whatever version of a person you're meant to grow into.
Yeah.
Yes. And I think karmic
Yep.
relationships are usually quite long because they're so repetitive and keep you stuck. So you got a lot of time to work through all the bullshit and all the things. So
Yes.
you really get time to develop yourself and transform because it takes time and you get that time. So that's beautiful.
Do you guys think that a karmic can transform in your life into something else? Do you think they're always karmic?
I don't know, because I can only go off of my own personal experience, and I would be happy to never ever cross paths again. That's my personal experience
Mm-hmm.
and based on where things are now.
Yes.
I
I,
don't
I
know. Maybe.
I think certain relationships are there for like a time, a brief period of time, and they're there to teach us a certain lesson.
Yeah.
And some of them will just stick with that, I think, and then others will uplift you even more and beyond. But I do
Yeah, but
believe
what
there's
she's
kind
saying,
of
what she was asking is like, if you're in a karmic relationship, you're going through hell, you're learning all kinds of crazy stuff about yourself, and then you guys finally come to an end, you learn your lessons, and you're like, okay, bye, see ya. Um, 10, 15 years down the line, do you think that person can somehow, because they're going to be on their own journey of growth too. Do
of
you think
course,
maybe
yes.
that person can then come back into your life and serve a different purpose? I
Who
don't
knows?
know, because I don't want that. I'm not drawn to that energetically with my karmic relationship.
Yes.
But I can't speak on the whole.
Yes. I think if both people transform, there's maybe a possibility. Then it's
Mm-hmm.
two different people basically meeting each other again. And
Yeah.
But yeah, it's a tricky one because you've had all these negative things
Yes.
and they're
Yeah.
really imprinted in the memory. So it's a little bit hard to move
Grow
beyond that. Yeah,
that.
exactly.
I do. I guess I'm trying to discern if it's a karmic or a soulmate kind of thing in my life, because I have learned so many lessons, and but he has also, like, on his side, we're not like a romantic right now or ever in the future, but I think platonically it has changed from a karmic to a soul, I don't, a soul
Like you
tie.
guys are now healthy for each other, not
Yeah.
romantically, but you guys have both grown.
And we talk about like the lessons that we're both like, oh, you're triggering me right now in like how you're
Well,
talking.
that makes sense then. So then I would have to say yes. I think it comes in with you're in a healthy state of mind and can both grow from it. Not everybody grows. Not everybody, like people with actual diagnosed narcissistic personality disorder, like their brains don't work the same. I don't know. I don't fully, I've read into it. I've learned about it. I've got some basic education on it, but I don't know the ins and outs about like exactly how that makes them view the world or how they process things or understand. But I know it's very hard for them to grow because nothing is ever their fault and everything is an extension of them. They get their
Mhm.
joy out of things being like they think a certain way, so you can't possibly think another way because they can't understand that. They can't because you're an extension of them. So that's why you get like with people that are in narcissistic relationships where you'll get like a you speak your mind and they're going to be like, well, no, that's not what you think. No, that's not what you're doing. And yes, yes, it is what I think. Yes, yes, it is what I'm doing. Like, what? They put people into boxes because they don't fathom any other, like, that's all they can do. That's how their brain works. And
Yep.
they put them into categories, and then that's just what people are boxes and categories. I
Yeah.
don't
Yeah.
like that. So,
Yes.
They serve a purpose. Narcissists see people as pawns that they can move around their chessboard.
yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, and everything is a habit. So whatever you train, you become better at, even if it's a terrible thing, but you become
Yeah.
good at the bad. So
But
it's
people are
yeah,
really
tricky.
bad.
Exactly. It's
So,
tricky to break that.
I
Mhm.
guess let's talk people from like healthy mindsets that aren't struggling with any type of personality disorders, because that's a whole different level of spirituality that we're not going to
Yeah.
get into in today's episode. Because maybe they're actually having, maybe there's a lot of lessons to learn with them having that person. I don't know. I really don't. But there's always thoughts and opinions that we'll have to maybe talk about on another episode. So coming from healthy mindsets, people who you may not get along, you have a karmic relationship, but you're both in a healthy, like you both have the ability to learn and grow and like see yourselves as, oh, you're right. Like, well, not you're right, but like you're talking to yourself. You're right.
Yeah.
I shouldn't have reacted that way. Oh, wow. Reel that in a little bit. Oh, what are you doing? You know, like you just start noticing your own
Patterns. Yeah.
yeah, your
Yeah.
own patterns, which is really good because in order to make changes that you want to make, I mean, it should be what you're going for, what you want to change and work on, not what other people on the outside tell you that you should
Yeah.
change. I'm always working on personal growth. I always want to be a better version of myself in like in every aspect. But I don't strive for somebody else's idea of perfection.
Yeah. It's your
So,
own.
okay, going back to what I was saying, you're in a healthy mindset. You can both learn and grow from it. You start out as a karmic relationship, and then that grows into something different, like you're saying with your relationship that is now platonic. But you guys can have these discussions and talk about what you learned from each other. Then, yes, absolutely. Your relationship has went from karmic, you both learned those lessons to now a more natural potential like soul tie.
Yeah.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah.
It does.
So,
Yes, and it's
yeah,
beautiful
I
to
love
grow
that a
in them.
lot.
Yeah.
Yes.
It's really nice to like at the horrible things that have happened in our lives, because there was some bad stuff. I can see that he is also like changing to be a better person. And that's great. Like, I'm really happy that for him that we can learn in a mirror like that. We're each
Yeah.
other's mirrors. You teach each other lessons.
Have you ever
Yes.
heard the saying like in a relationship that you have to fight for your partner's attention or fight to, like, you're constantly telling them what you need from them and you're just not getting it. But then when that relationship ends and they go and give the next woman, people get so mad at that. But like, you were meant to be a teacher in their lives. And it might hurt your heart, but I would take that as, oh, he did learn something.
Yes. Yep.
You know?
Like, oh, he was listening. He just didn't want to do it for me, which, like, that hurts. But that's for him to learn and be happy that he was able to learn those things.
Yes.
Yeah, no, that makes sense. I was like, go be a better version to the next woman, then that's fine. Yeah. That's fine. I just put all this work in, but that's fine.
Just imagine the that's about to come for you in the future.
Yes.
You put in all the work.
Yes.
Go ahead.
I think women in general are very good teachers, and like, you have this nurturing thing and this giving thing. So it's very beautiful the way you basically train men, like, to become better versions of themselves.
Teach. We're not training anybody. Yes. It's so horrible.
It is something that women, I think, have a natural gift at. It's just accepting it.
Yes, it's also putting in the effort and the work, so it doesn't come from nothing. Yes, true.
Yes. It takes a lot of energy. It's about knowing where to put that energy.
And I think learning how to listen to your intuition and going based on energetic pulls is going to make it a lot easier for you and a lot more pleasant. You're going to be a lot happier if you just listen to yourself, listen to what you're feeling, listen to that pull, your gut, like whatever you physically feel when your intuition is kicking in, listen to it. Just listen to it.
Yep.
And follow through with actions, huh?
Yeah.
You hear one thing and then, like, sticking with it.
That's how manifestation works. Like, manifestation is not going to work if you're envisioning what you want your future to be. That's a good start. Like, imagining this is where I want to be and imagining living your life in that state already. Like, it's already yours. That's a start. But then you have to do the work. You have to, whatever actions you need to take to get there, one step at a time, you still have to do those. Like, it's not going to just poop. One day you're like living, like, I'm just going to lay on my bed every day and imagine and imagine. It's not going to happen if you don't get up and do it.
Yes.
So with my dog, actually, I really wanted a dog. I just didn't think I was prepared for a dog. So I started to manifest and think of the idea of having a dog. And I would look at dogs online and stuff, but it was never ready, never lined up. And then I started to, like, go on walks when I would take a dog out and started to live my life like I had a dog. Yeah. And then the dog found me.
Then you were like, well, now I'm missing the dog.
I was able to say yes because I was ready. And that was like, that's with manifestation. You have to get yourself ready just to be able to say yes.
The law of attraction, all of it starts with your energy. All of it starts with your plan and your thought process and your ideas. But you have to put the work in to get there. You have to still get up and do whatever you need to do every day to bring it into your life.
Yep.
Yes. And it's beautiful.
If I'm envisioning $1 million on my bed right now, it's not going to just, I can see it in my mind. Actually, I have no idea what $1 million on my bed would look like. We'll just do a credit card. We're going to do a debit card with $1 million in it. I can imagine that. It's not there, guys.
But it's beautiful what you said, like, acting as if it's already there, even if it's not there. Yeah. And that's the tricky part. Like, when it's, like, seeing things and acting with them as if they're already there. And I was doing this before I became a teacher. I wanted to become, like, started teaching. And I just started telling people, I'm a teacher. And I got a teaching job. And I started doing different kinds of teaching jobs. And just
I think that's important,
thinking, doing,
You spoke it into existence, but you were still putting the work in to get there, and then it became a reality. Like, exactly. I'm a teacher. Instead of I'm working on becoming a teacher, no, I'm a teacher. Yes. I am a teacher. You already decided that that's what you were, so you already were. And then the job, a teaching job came. So that's like you were living it.
Yes, exactly.
Beautiful. And I love it. That's why I love energy. Everything has to do with, like, energy log. And we're still figuring it out. I don't have it down pat. I'm like, okay, like, I've been.
It's like a science experiment.
It is a huge science experiment, except science would deny a lot of what we're talking about.
Yes. Well,
They only
if
believe what they
the right
see. Yeah.
They can't like physically see it. It's not tangible. They can't grab it. So,
Yes.
but no, I love that. I love it. Yeah.
Yes. Same
Whew.
with gravity. Yeah.
Did you say gratitude?
Gravity, but
Oh,
gratitude is better actually. Yes.
gravity though makes sense. Like you can't see gravity, but I'm still standing on this floor. How?
Yes.
Yeah.
And
I'm not up on the ceiling. I don't know. I remember so like kind of looking into Albert Einstein and his theories on gravity whenever they were first talking about it. And some of the things that they, unlike the conversations that are well known out there that they were having around gravity and being like, well, it doesn't exist because I can't prove that it exists. But like, they couldn't explain why, because they were trying to do it on a scientific level, but they could not explain it. So therefore, like, well, we can't explain it, so it doesn't exist, but it clearly existed. Still,
Mhm.
it exists. So
same with energy. Yeah.
Yeah. Just trying to prove how it exists. That's all scientists are doing.
Yeah. And some things maybe are just meant to be experienced and felt instead of proven. I don't know. I
Yeah.
don't know if we can prove everything. It's so different levels and dimensions, and I don't know.
I I feel like
Yeah.
we could start somewhere. I like nobody really wants to look into it, or people have talked about looking into it. So what is it? The double slit theory or whatever is a theory. Like if you want to look it up, anybody who's not familiar with it, that in some sense proves. How do I explain? I want to explain it the right way. So hold on. Kind of like when you get into quantum theory, quantum physics, and all of that, and it just goes deeper. And then if you go so far into quantum physics, you're like, okay, my freaking brain hurts right now. All right, so I'm just going to read what this says. Imagine you have a wall with two vertical slits with narrow openings. The slits are narrow openings side by side, and you're going to throw small balls like marbles at the wall. Behind the wall is another screen where the marbles that make it through the slits will hit and leave a mark.
Mhm.
If you throw the marbles one by one through the slits, you expect to see two bands of marks on the back screen. One behind each slit, because they both make it through, saying they both go through, right. So this is because the marbles pass through one slit or the other. Now, instead of marbles, imagine you're using a light source or even electrons, which are tiny particles. If light or electrons were behaving like marbles, which are particles, you would again expect to see two bands on the back screen. But that's not what happens. When light or electrons pass through the slits, they behave like waves instead of particles. Waves can spread out and interfere with each other. So as the waves pass through the two slits, they overlap and create a pattern of multiple bright and dark bands on the back screen, known as an interference pattern. Here's the surprising part. Even if you send the electrons through one at a time, they still create this interference pattern. And this suggests that each electron is somehow going through both slits simultaneously as a wave and interfering with itself. So to add another twist, if you put a detector to see which slit an electron goes through, the interference pattern disappears and you get two bands as if the electrons were particles again. So this shows
Wow.
that observing or measuring the electrons changes their behavior from wave-like to particle-like. So in simple terms, the double slit experiment shows that tiny particles like electrons can act both as particles and waves, and their behavior changes depending on whether we observe them or not.
Interesting.
That is
And this
interesting.
gets into quantum mechanics and the mysteries around that shit. So, but yeah, I remember like the first time I ever looked into that theory was, oh God, a lot of years ago at this point. And at first I was having a hard time understanding what they were saying. So I had to go, read it and go through a few more times. And then I was like, oh, like it literally changes when we observe it. That is insane. Not insane, but I love that. I just love that they're starting. No, that's been done years ago. So we haven't really done, as far as I know, there's not been too much else done. I don't know how you would study quantum mechanics in depth, but that would be such an intriguing field to get into.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I've read a few books on quantum mechanics because it's just so intriguing because energy work in quantum mechanics, it's like if if they could just be on the same page, we could figure it out. I just don't think you're supposed to. I think there's just supposed to be some kind of mystery there too.
About 10 years ago, I read a book called Biocentrism, which is that book is written to explain spirituality and things and energy, vibration, frequency, all of that, souls, even to an extent, on a scientific level. I don't remember, I remember reading it, and I remember some of the thoughts that I learned from that book, I just have naturally embedded in my head now. But I think I should revisit that book. And I think anybody who's into that should revisit that book because it was definitely intriguing. And it's written in a way that even if you don't know a lot about quantum mechanics, it's easy to understand.
Yeah.
Yes.
Biocentrism.
Biocentric. Got it. Okay. Interesting.
I was just thinking about how we were talking about how it changes when you're observed and how humans, like whenever you're observing yourself or you wake up to the things
Oh,
you're doing, you change. Once you see something, you change it if you don't like it, or if you do like it, you keep doing those things. But sometimes you don't even know it's happening until you see it.
yes. Observation is essential. Huh?
Yeah.
Yes, that's true.
Because there's always that theory like this that something can change whenever you observe it. Right there alone has me asking so many questions.
Yeah.
Like so many questions that I still need answers to that I don't have answers. But also
Yes.
quantum mechanics also makes sense of there being like a multiverse and different levels and different dimensions and all of that. Quantum mechanics makes sense of that.
Yeah.
So there's been times I've really got like deep into thought about it, and I had like this whole idea in my head, and I'm like, how am I ever going to get that out and explain it to people? So I'm like, how? Because it made so much sense to me,
Yeah.
but it's so hard to explain what was going on in my head, what I was thinking, and how I was thinking it all worked. I'm just like, I need to get like a recorder and just like record and be willing to sound absolutely nuts to myself, and then go over it and take from that a way to kind of maybe process and turn it into something that's more understandable. So, but
The
yeah,
best
it makes sense.
yeah. The best scientists always sound crazy, so you're on the right track, I think.
You got to be a little crazy to like really figure this shit out, and you can't fall into, well, this is what this person said, so the science is never settled. Have you never heard that the science is never settled? It can always change. What you have known as science now is just what has been put it, like they put a theory to test and it worked. That doesn't mean it won't change. It can
Yes.
absolutely change. More than
It's
one
just
theory can be put together and work.
Yep.
So
it's a bunch of experiments. And, yeah, exactly. Yes. Put together, and then we do a new experiment with a new result. So we change the theory, and it's like an ocean, always in motion.
yeah,
Yep.
yeah. So that's what I tell people. Like, yeah, you take your science, respect your science, go ahead, respect it, but understand that like it's not set in stone. You can't just be like, well, the science is settled and then not be willing to learn or grow or figure more out. I don't know. I guess not. I'm so like intrigued by it that I want to learn more. I want to understand it on a deeper level because right now I have a very surface level understanding, and even that makes a lot of things make sense. But I want to understand it on like a deeper level. So,
Yes.
and I'm
Beautiful.
definitely gonna read biocentrism again.
And then I'm gonna read it. It's on my list.
Cool.
Yeah, sometimes you have to go crazy to become sane. Yes. Yeah, that makes sense. Step 2. So Mark said step 2 is actually doing it. Yeah, that's what we were saying. This goes back to manifestation. You envision it and then you do the work. Get there. But if you have a clear plan, that's exactly what manifestation is you have to, that helps you set up like a clear plan of where you want to be. Who are you? And then, okay, this is who I am. Let's go get it. You're not all over the place.
Yes.
Don't be afraid to dream bigger. You achieve something and then you want to dream bigger, then dream bigger.
This is going to be completely random, but like when it comes to like insects and things of that nature, I feel like some of them don't bother me and some of them cause anxiety. Like stink bugs will cause me anxiety. And I'm like, I don't understand this. And I just thought the other day, because as I'm walking and a butterfly is coming up to me, I'm like, I don't get stressed out from butterfly, and it's still an insect or bees
Mhm.
and stuff. I don't want bees to sting me, but I'm not like, a bee. There's something about stink bugs, and I'm like, I'm wondering now, is it like a frequency thing? Like, are they just a lower frequency creature? I don't know, and I'm sensing that because they've always given me anxiety, and I'm not like that with all bugs, just them little.
Just certain.
That's like such a random thought, but I was putting that into perspective the other day. I'm like, no, because like it's the butterfly that triggered it. I'm like, this butterfly is an insect, and I don't. If the butterfly landed on me, I'm not gonna be like.
Thinking about that the other day with different kinds of bees, because I can sit there in a meadow and have bees, honeybees around me, don't bother me, not stressed. Like it is what it is.
They're
But
sweet.
those like yellow jackets around or
They're
anything that
aggressive.
like wants to hurt me, I am gonna freak out about that bee. But if it's just a regular bumblebee, honeybee, just doing its job, it's just living life.
Right. So I feel like it's got to be a frequency thing, a vibration thing, and you're just picking up on it. Because
Yeah.
honeybees are just around doing their little cute little
Yeah.
things. They might ping you in the head because they're blind,
Yeah.
apparently. Really blind. They're just zoo, zoo, zoo. But they're not out to they're not going to be aggressive.
No.
Yellow jackets are naturally aggressive. So
Yeah.
maybe you're picking up on that energy from them. Like you're going to sting me. Get away
Yep.
from me.
All
And I
vibrate.
was to say so, but stink bugs they don't hurt you. They can't hurt you. And for some reason, I'm just like, no.
They sneak up on you. They're sneaky. They just show up. That's the.
I know. And then
It's their
they fly and they ping off of everything and they go in circles. And I'm like, don't touch me. I'm like,
They go
my
crazy.
head under the blanket. Like, no. Oh my God. Oh no. Yeah, we can do it without them. It's kind of like with it being spring, so like we're getting them more, and I'll have one in my room, and then the next day there's one in my room, and then I'm like, what? Get out of here! Ooh, what about the lanternflies? Do you guys have lanternflies over there, Finn? Did they make it over there?
Yeah, we do. We do.
Oh my
They're beautiful.
God, are they coming in like massive freaking? They last summer. They're not really. I haven't really seen any yet, but they're not supposed to really hit till summer. But last
Yes.
summer, they were
Yep.
like in such massive piles on top of each other all over. I'm like, what is happening? Oh, it was horrible.
Yeah, we don't have so many, but we do have a few. Yeah.
It got crazy over here. And I was in Cranberry, PA. You won't have any idea what I'm talking about, but you might. Do you know where Cranberry is? And we went into one of the buildings, and I'm outside of this building. They're just everywhere. Everywhere. And like the ground around the wall was covered, and they were in piles, and oh my God, it was insane. They don't hurt you either, though. They're just
there.
And they're kind of big.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They say that cicadas are supposed to be really bad this summer too.
Cicadas don't bother me. The only thing is when you're trying to take a walk in the woods and they're all like screaming and you can't even hear yourself. Cicadas don't bother me though. They don't bug me. They don't really like fly and land on you though. They just kind of hang out on the tree and yell at you.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Every time I look down, I'm trying to keep up with the comments on Facebook. I have no idea what's happening over on YouTube. Maybe I should check in real quick, but we only have 7 subscribers over there. It just made that channel's brand new.
Yes.
Nobody's watching us on YouTube. But again, like I said, we don't have any subscribers yet. Okay, so that's spiders for you, Bonnie. Yeah, spiders don't bother me too much.
No.
Unless you're like a big creepy looking spider, then I might run. But I don't really get like anxious over a spider. I'm just like, I'm gonna move away from you now.
My daughter is terrified of spiders because her father is. So she's seen him react, so she reacts.
Yes.
That's that like learned behavior. Like, oh.
Yep. That's why I try to teach her. I'm like, they're not that bad. Just take them outside.
Yeah, I think anything that's slow is like you can teach them, huh? Yeah.
Yep. Like it's okay.
And spiders don't fly. So that's how
yeah.
That's so cool.
Yeah, they're just gonna crawl away.
Sure. Awesome. Yeah, anything that flies is a little bit they can come anywhere.
Yeah. Yeah, and they
Okay,
come
so
out.
Mark said some animals, of course, are more likely to trigger fear or disgust, but at the end of the day, it's not causing the reaction, it's you. Yeah, it's your reaction. It's what you're feeling or
Yeah.
what you're picking up from it. But what I was saying is that they still have energy. They're a living being, and
Yep.
you still give off a certain type of energy, a frequency, a vibration. So that's kind of what I was talking about when I was speaking on stink bugs and stuff. But yeah, my anxiety comes from picking up on their energy and just not liking it. I don't vibe with it. So
Can you just
no
feel
thanks.
the room like before you even see it, or can you just go off in the room and be like, I know there's a stink bug in here?
Well, because you can hear they all fly now. I swear when they first became like 10 years ago, they didn't really fly. It was very uncommon. Now they all fly and they freaking fly in circles. Like,
I had a friend terrified of stink bugs, and she just knew. She knew when she walked into a room where the stink bug was, and it was chaos.
have either of you ever smelled a stink bug?
Yes.
Okay. No, Finn, and yes, you. Do you know I found out recently that not everybody can smell a
Yes.
stink bug?
Oh,
Yep.
I think that's like the weirdest thing in the. They smell atrocious.
They do. I
They
said that's some privilege to not be able to smell a stink
Oh
bug.
yeah, it is. And then that smell, if they spray, which they'll spray if you kill them, or they'll
Yep.
spray if they sense danger, it attracts other stink bugs.
Yep.
okay.
I don't
Wow.
ever kill them anyways. I just have my daughter. I have my oldest come. I'm like, you have to get it because she's not afraid of them. She'll just hold it. I'm like, you're crazy, but get it out of my room anyways. And she'll
Yeah.
just come out my window.
Wow.
So
I
yeah, we
don't know.
want nothing to do with them, but I think we're good. You have me looking around my room now, like there's a fly in here somewhere that just keeps like flying into my face, but I don't care about the fly. We're good. I think we're good.
But they're okay, they're cool.
Just had to check real quick. Or if I'm putting clothes on, if I go to get under my blanket, like I automatically think because years and years ago, I woke up smelling a stink bug and I turned over and there was like a brown mark on my face. So
Uh,
I turned over and crushed it in my sleep with my face.
oh,
Yeah,
Wow.
traumatized.
That's quite a surprise. Huh?
I don't know. It's not so much about the stink bugs being disgusting for me, Mark. It's literally an energy I pick up that gives me they cause anxiety, and not all creepy looking creatures do that. Like spiders don't, bees don't. Why am I blanking on other insects?
I think people
Just
just
the
scared. I
specific
think people are
energy.
scared of one insect.
What is
Like
it?
on a personal level, I think someone is at least scared of one insect or one type of it.
Probably to some, maybe, yeah. Or like unusually intrigued by them, like really
Yeah.
too into them. Like
Yeah.
butterflies do give off good energy. They give off very like serene energy. Like I always feel at peace when I see or I'm around butterflies. They're obviously not aggressive in any sense. They all come in different like colors. The blue butterflies are so pretty. I love them.
Yes.
Maybe they have a more like a name, an actual name, but they're just blue butterflies to me.
They're very light as well. They have this very light vibration, and it's not so nervous like a bee, for example.
Yeah,
Yeah.
or yellow jacket. Yeah, and that's what I'm saying. It comes down to a vibration because all things carry energy. All living things have vibrations.
Yep.
Um, and I
It's
know for a fact it's an energy thing that I'm picking up for the stink bugs because I can sense it. When you pick up on energy, like certain things cause anxiety, usually to some extent, as you listen to your intuition. But with the stink bugs, I'm like, what? Like, I just don't want it in here. Is it gonna like take over? Is it gonna get in my brain and like control me? Just an interesting little fact that this is the shit I think about. Like the other day, I'm like, is it a vibration? I don't know. Because I work for a delivery company right now, so I'm driving. Wow, the door's open. It's getting hot, and I got like bees coming in to hang out all day. I'm like, get out of my truck, get out of here. And they like you're driving, and somehow they keep up with you. I'm
yeah.
like, get out of my. And then the one day it was a yellow jacket. I'm trying to fight him out of the truck. He just kept coming back to fight me. I'm like, get
Yeah.
out. Just go out the door and go off into the entire world. Like,
Yeah. You have so much space.
yeah, get out of here. How long have we been on? Let me check that real quick because I don't like to go more than an hour.
For about 75, I think, minutes.
We're over an hour, so let's wrap it up because holy crap. It was fun though. I think we kind of just got into a nice flow with it.
Mhm.
That's true.
We steered a little bit off of karmic relationships and stuff, but like we said what we needed to say, and then we just flew into energy. I think it still all went well.
It was a lot of fun. Yeah.
Yeah, it was a lot of fun. So thank you for coming and joining us today, Colleen. I enjoyed it. And Finn, I think today went great. We'll talk about things in more detail later. Next week's episode is I don't have a plan for it yet, so I will announce that as soon as I have a theme and we'll talk about it. But in the meantime, you guys have a really good night.
Thank you
Thank you
for
so
having
much. Yes, thank you
This is
for
a long
inviting
night
us.
for you, Finn. Good night.
Wide
Bye.
awake. Thank you. Goodbye.